lecture in which I'm going to show you around 11 Labs. So if you go to the link in the resource of the lecture, you'll find 11labs.io, access it. So from there, if you go to 11 Labs' voice library, you can find plenty of voices. So for instance, if you're seeking to create a story, now here, first of all, in the voice library, there's a lot of voices. But if you want to filter by type of voice, for example, if it's for narrative and story, click narrative and story, and you can see here, we have all these kind of voices, Alex, Marcus, Romeo, and any voice you'd like to basically visualize or hear how it sounds, you can just click, for example, on this voice.
Let us always meet each other with smile, for the smile is the beginning of love.
Now that's a good voice, but I think it's quite scary, so I'm going to go for the next one.
I'm not interested in age. I'm not interested in...
Well, not really good. Let's look for this one.
Never do things others can do and will do.
Yes. This one is good. So when you like a voice, click Add to Voice Lab. And immediately here, they'll ask you to rename it. I'm just going to keep it as is. Click Add Voice. Now the voice is in the Voice Lab. If I go to the Voice Lab, clicking Voice Lab, this will take me to the Voice Lab in which I have 19 voices for the time being. Now, these are voices, some of them actually just 3 or 4 that I've uploaded from the voice library, but most of them I've actually created myself. For example, Trump. Let's say you want to sound like Donald Trump. You can actually take a voice of Trump and create a voice of Trump. So you can just take a recording of Trump talking, even though this is entirely not permitted. This is illegal and it could get you into trouble. So don't do it. Not for commercial purposes, not for any purpose whatsoever. But you can do it for fun as long as you don't share any video of Trump saying anything that you are saying. So that could land you into legal trouble. But I'm just showing you what this software is capable of. So if you want to clone a voice, you can just click here on plus. And you can either design a voice from scratch in which you could just create a voice, which I don't like. Or you can clone a voice, or you can upload your own voice, and then you can clone your own voice by adding your own voice. Now here, if you click on instant voice cloning, and here as well, you can actually add your own voice to clone your voice if you would like. Now, you just have to name your voice, upload a file which contains the voice that you want to clone, and then click I hereby confirm that I have the necessary publishing rights, and add the voice. So unless you have a written consent from the person which you're cloning the voice of, then you cannot clone their voices because that's entirely not permitted. Okay, I know you see a lot of people doing it on YouTube, but that will get them into all sorts of legal troubles. And so unless there is a definite law that tells you that you can do it without having any repercussions, then you can go ahead. But if we want to, for example, test, here I have Trump's voice, Joe Rogan, The Rock, here, what more, Elon Musk, Joe Biden, and so on and so forth, and even the clone of my own voice. So if I click on use, in this case, it will take me to the speech synthesis area, which you can click just by clicking here. And in the speech synthesis, there are 2 options. The second option, I think, is the best one. I'll tell you why. Because speech to speech is actually you talk. So you go and you say, you take this script. So for example, the first script says, ever wondered why Bilbo reacts so strongly when Smaug says precious? Let's debunk this in 60 seconds. You take a recording of yourself saying that. And then when you take a recording of yourself saying that, you upload it here. And then you select the voice that you want to emulate. But the good thing is that if you're using speech to speech, you're actually going to keep the feeling and the way you talk. Okay? Now, in this case, we're not going to do it. But if you want to do it, record yourself saying this, and then take whichever voice you want to apply your voice to. So if you want to sound like Donald Trump or to sound like the guy that we just taken the voice of, which is basically, if I scroll down, I think it should be somewhere around here. Romeo, yeah. This is a good combination because you can keep the feeling in the voice. As opposed to that, if you don't do it, you'll have a very bland voice. Now I'm going to go to speech. I'm just going to show you Donald Trump because I really cloned him very, very well. So if I scroll, Trump voice, and here I have this script that says, hey, are you prepared and whatnot. I'm just going to remove part of it, and then I'm going to click on generate. And in this case, it's going to generate Donald Trump saying,
are you prepared for the AI era? Because AI is here to take your job.
And also your voice clone will depend highly on the quality of the voice that you've uploaded when you're doing the cloning. So if you can do some editing to the voice, make it clearer and perfect, the pitch needs to be perfect, then you will have a better clone. But in here, I'm going to show you the voice that we have selected, which is Romeo. And we're going to create our first voiceover. So if I go and to the voiceover number 1, it's okay if I copy it entirely with the brackets. It's not going to read them anyways. So I'm going to copy it, come back right here. You can modify the voice settings, even though I recommend you to leave them by default. And then you can remove this and put the voiceover as per ChatGPT. Click generate, wait 2 seconds. ChatGPT, 11 Labs will generate the voice.
Ever wondered why Bilbo reacts so strongly when Smaug says precious? Let's debunk this in 60 seconds.
Is it a good voice or not? I think it's really great. So I'm going to download this. So this is voiceover number 1. Now let's repeat the process for voiceover number 2. So voiceover number 2 is notice Smaug emphasizing precious 3 times. This triggers a memory and so on and so forth. Make sure you download your voice when you generate it, because if you don't, you're going to have to do it again. So here I'm going to delete this part and add the new one, generate. Now these voiceovers, they have to be at least 5 seconds.
Notice Smaug emphasizing precious 3 times. This triggers a memory in Bilbo.
Right, so I've downloaded the second voiceover. Now let's move on to the third voiceover. It reminds him of Gollum, and so I'm going to copy this. I hope that you're practicing while you're watching this, because I didn't do it so that you just watch.
It reminds him of Gollum, who also obsessively called the ring precious.
I'm going to download this, and then let's move on to another one, then a split-second flash, and so on and so forth. So basically what we're doing is just copy, paste, copy, paste. And by the way, you can actually do this, I think, with $1. There are other softwares, but 11 Labs is by far the best.
Then a split-second flash of Sauron. Why? It's a cinematic hint.
I'm going to regenerate this one because I didn't like how it seemed. So I'm regenerating.
Then a split-second flash of Sauron. Why? It's a cinematic hint.
Okay, I think this one is good. So now I'm going to download it. The other one, I didn't think it was good because it didn't have feelings. It was robotic. And by the way, these voices are really tremendously powerful. And I think that with the combination of speech-to-speech, you can do it better.
And that the ring tied to Sauron manipulates its bearer's fears and memories.
Okay, so let me just download that. And then there's, I think, 2 more, and then we're done. So if I download this, Bilbo removing the ring symbolizes his struggle and whatnot. So let's go ahead. We have to make sure the video is absolutely 60 seconds or less.
Bilbo removing the ring symbolizes his struggle against its dark influence.
Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to have to download it first. I almost forgot. And now the last scene is end that's the hidden depth. Okay, so this is the last one, so nothing to it. Just basically create the voiceover, and let's wrap up with this. So in the next lecture, we're going to do another interesting thing.
And that's the hidden depth in this epic Bilbo Smaug encounter. Subscribe for more Middle-earth mysteries.
Okay, so in the next lecture, I'm actually going to show you how you can take a photo. You can create a photo using Leonardo of a wizard. In this case, we're going to create Gandalf, a picture of Gandalf. And then we're going to make that picture talk. And we're going to make it talk with the first script, the first voiceover. So let's go ahead and do that in the next lecture.